Ball first and 10 at the 12-yard line of the Seahawks. Sean goes right, has a cutback lane, and he does. He's across the 20, the 25, 30, 35, 40. Here he goes. Are they going to catch him? 40, 35, 30. Touchdown, Seahawks!
12, they're bringing the trophy home. Your Seahawks, Super Bowl 48 champions.
Holy catfish! Baldwin's going to throw back to Russell. He's got it! Touchdown! Seahawks! Are you kidding me?
Let's Hawk It Out with your hosts Kevin Porter and Rich Harris.
We said the Seahawks would go on the road, and by God, did they go on the road and perform and deliver one hell of a performance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Let's Hawk It Out. As always, I'm Kevin Porter, joined with Rich Harris also. What's up, buddy? How you doing this Monday evening as we record this?
Oh man, I'm doing fabulous, dude. That was such a great experience. It's good to see us rebound and come back and show a statement that we're relevant and that we are a good team, and really to try to restore the fans' faith a little bit, myself included. So man, I'm feeling pretty great the day after. I really am.
Well, the Seattle Seahawks, they went to Detroit and they pulled out the overtime victory, 37-31. Your Seattle Seahawks are now 1-1. So everybody that was freaking out last week, thinking, "Oh my God, the world's gonna end. The Seahawks are gonna, go 2-12 or 2-16 or whatever," and it's not gonna happen this year. And well, ladies and gentlemen, it is gonna happen. We are gonna be on the winning block, and yeah, man, it was an up and down game. It felt like it felt like it was a real up and down game there, and it kind of felt for a couple of moments in there, where you're just like, okay, like let's see what we can do here. But I mean, Geno looked really good yesterday. I mean, like I don't, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think he's thrown an interception this season yet, has he, Rich?
I don't think so. No, I don't think he has. And he did. He looked like the Geno that we knew last year, the Geno that came about, that we all grown to love. And I'll get right into my one word before we forget here of the game. What I feel is the one word description, and I'm going to say it's called redemption, because that's what we got, was redemption after that really stale first week at home. It was great hearing the team acknowledge it as well. Like we said, they got humbled by the whole experience. I guess on Wednesday's practice, which is a closed practice away from the media, Bobby Wagner had just one of the most impactful speeches, I guess, and the coaches and everybody let him roll with that. Like we talk about, he's the on the field coach, the embedded player, and I guess the attitude just was visibly different that practice and thereon. Coach brought the team out there a day early like normal. We have a good track record with playing Detroit, and it's usually a shootout right there, but the goal was obviously to go in there and kick their fucking ass and make a statement.
To lay the smackdown, dude.
Straight up, because they were coming off a lot of hype, a win against Kansas City. Look at all these guys losing their home openers. We're not the only one that lost our home opener. Kansas City lost their home opener to Detroit, but you know what? We turned around and went to Detroit and killed them on their home opener. So I don't know what it is about the home openers, but it seems to be a little bit of a theme, and it seems to be something that people can get past, teams included. So I thought it was good, and kudos to Bobby Wagner for having such an inspirational speech.
Yeah, I heard the same thing earlier today about the Bobby Wagner speech last Wednesday, dude. And I think that type of leadership is definitely important when it comes to that type of, getting your boys up and ready to move. You need somebody to be able to come in there and like kick you in the ass and be like, "Hey man, this ain't right," and tell you why it's not right and how you need to fix it. And
right,
man, you need that inspiration every once in a while. And luckily, like you said last week, dude, we're getting that really bad taste out of our mouth real quick into the season. And here we are again, 1-1. Luckily, next week, it's turning out to be a very interesting season, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, at least we get to go back at home. Like you said, 1-1. We got Carolina coming in. That's a very winnable ball game. I think if you're going to that game, you're probably going to be a lot luckier than those of us that went to the first game, because it should be a really good environment, and we should see that same team. I mean, we had 2 tackles out, and we had 2 backup tackles come in, and Gino looked pretty protected the whole time. He seemed like he had some time, and they also did what we thought about too, is getting rid of the ball quicker and doing those short yardage and letting the receivers and running backs get those what they call those yaks, those yards after the catch, right? So that happened a lot more. I don't know if you noticed that, where they're just dumping it off and letting the receiver or the running back try to get out there in space and try to get some yards.
Yeah, those Dink and Ducks were like pretty heavy yesterday.
Yeah, Dink and Ducks. There you go.
Doing that a lot.
Exactly. And then K9 looked great, and Charbonnet complemented each other. So we're starting to see that running back by committee that we were looking forward to. And all in all, with the offensive line and the running game, Gino, I mean, I thought the offense looked a lot like the offense that we're used to. They really did.
Well, let's go to break down, our offense for the game yesterday there. I mean, Geno Smith went 32 for 41, 328 yards. He was averaging 8 yards throw, 2 touchdowns. He had 1 sack for a loss of 17 yards, which that sack did look pretty gnarly. You're kind of like, get it out of there, Geno, get it out of there. I mean, that did look pretty bad, but I mean, we did rebound after that, obviously.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You got K9 coming in there. He had 17 attempts, dude, so he definitely carried the load for the game. He only the 2 longest runs though. We only had a 14 and a 15-yard run as our longest. And Gino had he actually had the longest run of the day with the 15 yards, and then K9 had the 14. But he went 43 yards, averaging 2.5 yards. 2 touchdowns though. By the way, he scored 2 touchdowns. Actually, no, wait. I'm looking at was it the yards?
Yeah, I think you're right. K9 did have 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, he had 20 yards. And
Gino had that long run when he got that first down for us, where he made it happen. So that again, putting the weight on his shoulders, and trying to go out there and get a win for the team. And then how about Tyler Lockett? I mean, we're not forgetting about him. I mean, he's definitely going to come up, but man, he always comes through when we really need him to. And talk about a leader. He's the offensive leader as well. I'm sure he had a lot to say, and I'm sure people look up to him, but he leads by example. Like, he comes through in the overtime, gets that touchdown for us. He also came through with some few clutch catches. He's got that little wiggle move. Coach was talking about that wiggle he's been working on all. You know how he'll wiggle at the line there?
Yeah, I see that.
Just take off, and the guy's left. He's juking him out his jock strap like we talk about. He's got that wiggle, and Coach said it's just perfect. He does it the same in practice. But anyway, kudos to Tyler, because you know what? He always comes through when needed, and he did a great job. So I wanted to make sure that the whole rest of the league forgets about Tyler. But man, that guy's amazing. He's a perfectionist, man. I swear to God, I love that dude.
I was questioning that overtime. Like when he got the touchdown, I was like, I got it. Like when I first initially saw it, I was like, oh, it's a touchdown. But then they started showing the replays. I was like, I don't know. Like,
right. It took a minute. Yeah.
But I mean, that one angle, they showed that one angle though, where it's like, it was clearly over the goal line there. And it was like, okay, touchdown. Yep. we're gonna take the overtime win here. But then there was the injury scare with DK Metcalf. I mean, I was listening to the Coach Carroll earlier today on 710, and they were talking about how DK Metcalf took quite the hit and was definitely feeling that all last night. Like, so, it was good to see him come out there and like, just because, after last week, I don't know if we really talked about it too much, but that penalty that he got last week for the roughing the passer or whatever it was, the unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, I think what happened is he said he was blocking, but he was being more aggressive than that, and he's actually throwing punches kind of, and outside of where the action of the play was happening. So it was one of those ones where, he may have been assigned a block, but there really wasn't no play coming his direction, and he was just still blocking and fighting with the guy. And, he calls it blocking. The rest of us call it a fighting. Is that the same one you're talking about?
Yeah, but I was going to say is like seeing him come back out after that, sustained that injury. I mean, it just, shows some toughness, and like,
yes.
we always talk about, it shows leadership on the team that, hey, we're going to fight, through our scrapes and bumps, man. We're not gonna sit this out. He comes off as a diva sometimes, but at the same time he doesn't. It's like he does show that like large, like those steps towards the maturity, and like I don't know, because like I think a lot of people were really worried over the years ago when he was coming in here that that party boy attitude. But I really think that over the years, man, he's really proved that he has his moments, but he just he catches himself and he makes up for it the weeks to come after whatever the incident is.
Yeah, he usually makes up for it with his actions, and that was definitely a brutal hit where he took that and he got sandwiched, and then one of the guys just seemed like he spearheaded him in the back with his helmet for the most part. So I think they took him in at halftime and gave him a shot in his back. That's what helped him to come out. And I listened to Coach today on one of the radio shows, and Coach was convinced that DK probably didn't get any sleep last night, because as soon as those painkillers wear off, and plus you had the plane ride home, they probably told him to not even come in and just lay in bed, because but man, tough guy, and he came through a lot too. I'm not trying to, don't get me wrong. I know you're pointing him out as well, and I need to talk about him too. But they all seem to come through. Even Jackson Smith and Jigba, he had a few moments for us. He's still kind of getting and learning. And as far as DK, I think he's still learning the balance. He needs to be himself, be that trash talker that he is, but he also needs to find that balance of his professionalism and some class mixed in there, and the representation. He's an ambassador for the team at the end of the day, so he needs to keep all that in mind when he goes to just kind of single himself out and let his emotions get in the way.
No, I think yesterday was a good day, Rich. I really think yesterday was a good day to be a Seahawks fan. And I don't know, man. I really love those shootout games. Like when it does go back and forth. Like even though we took a 10-point lead at one point, you're kind of like, okay, don't hold your breath. Just like Seahawks fashion, we gave up those 10 points. What did you think of the defense though yesterday? Because it seemed like they did step up their game a lot, comparing it to last week.
For sure. I have some observations. The tackling was a little better, but we still had a lot of missed tackles. But man, how about that Julian Love fellow that we brought in? He seemed to be in most of those tackling plays. I think he's number 22. And I kept going, who is this? He's all over. And then he'd turn around and you could see Love on his jersey. So he's one of the ones that we brought in. I seen him really active in every single play, or not every single play, but in most of the plays. Trey Brown had to step in for Reek Woolen when Reek got hurt, and Trey Brown really stepped it up and held down the fort there. He also was the one that had the pick six right there just by paying attention and jumping that route. So kudos to Trey Brown. But otherwise it was really nice to see our rookie get in there, Devon Witherspoon, and see him get some action. And he looks really gritty and tough. Did you pick up on him much? And
I did see that. And I heard Pete Carroll talk about him earlier today about how he definitely, make it, because this was his, NFL debut for all intents and purposes. And how he there was a certain play he was talking about how there was the ball ended up going to the other side of the field, but he instinctively, just based on the way the play broke down,
it was a flea flicker.
Yeah. He was able to just drop back and get the coverage in there, and that type of mentality, at least from the way Pete Carroll describes it. I mean, this is elite athlete type situation that we have going here. This guy definitely is showing that he can be a great quarterback in the NFL. And again, for what we have with Reek and who's the other one? I forget.
Devon Witherspoon.
Devon Witherspoon.
Spoon is what they call him for short.
Spoon.
Reek and Spoon.
Yeah. So I think I really think that our cornerback coverage is great at this moment. So.
Yeah. And you were speaking about the one that Coach complimented him on, where other people were making adjustments to go into man coverage, but he saw something and backed off, and Coach and them were impressed that he did that instinctively. Yeah. Those are one of those things that you can't teach. The other one that I'm speaking of as well was when there was a flea flicker play where he got burned, and remember where he kind of came up because it looked like it was going to be a run, but then they pitched the ball back to the quarterback.
Yeah, you're right.
And that guy took off and he had to try to play catch up. Now he got some good catch up speed, DK Metcalf type catch up speed, right? Where he caught up to that guy, but it was too late. The guy was already in the end zone and he had already scored. So those are understandable when you're a rookie.
Learning moments.
It's his first game of the year. Like we said, those are definitely learning moments.
Mhm.
But I think earlier than that, or, at some point, Coach, you might have heard the same interview when he said he checked in on Devon and said, how's it going out there? How you feeling first game and all? He's like, it's easy. It's easy.
Oh
You
man,
know,
that's so good.
and that just goes to show
So
he's
good.
not being cocky. He's just he's adjusted for it, and he was NFL ready just because he already understands the speed of the game, and he's just one of those ones that happens to be fortunate to enter the league and be already up to speed.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So
Well, no, dude, I'm really glad to see him play. Of course, Jamal Adams, he set out again, but they said today that he's all go next Sunday against Carolina.
all right. Well, I'd love to give him a new name other than defensive diva. So let's bring it, Jamal. I'll make another statement. Show and prove. Actions
Yep.
speak louder than words. Us fans are ready for you to show us what you're made of, bro. But do it. Just do it. Don't get injured. Play with precision and play with restraint, so to speak, and don't be so goosey and flamboyant and over reacting. I think anybody that watched him when he gets injured will agree that he's just too just train wreck, like and he goes flying into a play when he can maybe be a little bit more calculated about it and not get hurt. So let's see you show us why we traded for you, and gave up all those picks and whatnot. And boy, welcome in. I'll give you a new nickname. That's our agreement.
It's like, dude, please break the stereotype and actually because again, dude, it's like Seattle has a curse, whether it be the Mariners or the fucking Seahawks, dude, where it's like we trade out for all these big name people, they come in and don't do shit. And so far, Jamal Adams hasn't done shit, Rich.
Nope. He just needs to bring it, and we're waiting for you. We're not going to badmouth you anymore than we already have. Now we'd love to say a lot of good things about you. So let's do it.
Yeah,
A couple of optimists here.
The challenge is out there
Right?
for sure, dude. So, I mean, dude, I think you brought up Jaron Reed and the interception. I mean, we were talking about Julian Love there for a second. He actually had the fumble recovery or some sort of recovery. Was it a fumble recovery that he had? I forget exactly, because we had the 2 turnovers, right, in the game.
I don't remember who the second one was. I just remember Trey Brown having the pick 6, I believe it was.
It says on the box report, Julian Love had a reception for a fumble. So I guess it is a fumble. Or wait, did he? See, it says Seattle fumbles, Detroit fumbles. Did he fumble the ball? I don't know.
I don't think so, because
he recovered.
probably recovered.
Okay,
probably
so
fumble recovery.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a few of those too where we got the ball loose. I mean, we were playing on all phases of the game. We played really well. We were the Seahawks team that us fans are hoping and rooting for. So like I said, let's just see us go back home and keep that mentality, keep that all in check, and maybe we'll get Jamal this week. If not, it should be the next week. It sounds like he's going full speed this week in practice. So they're going to say it could possibly be this week, if not next week. And then let's just hope some of these other guys that are a little bit banged up and injured can get healed quicker. But right now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. We did see the 2 missed field goals there, which is very uncharacteristic.
There's always got to be
Jason
something.
Myers.
Yeah, everything couldn't go the way we wanted it, I guess. So that's a good point. That's got to be the only thing that didn't go as expected, because Jason Myers is usually very reliable. The announcers said it many a times. So that's unfortunate for Jason, but he'll bounce
He's
back
good
as
for
well.
60, man. He usually gets that shit from 60.
Especially indoors.
Mm-hmm.
Especially indoors. They said he was hitting them at 60 there in practice. They were watching him. So
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. It's just any given Sunday, just like I said last week about how you thought we might do, or when you asked my opinion, and I said, you know what, we can go in there and get a win because we play them hard. We beat them last year in a shootout, and we barely edged them out. Well, it was another shootout of sorts, and we barely edged them out. Well, kudos to both teams for playing a really hard ball game. That's an edge of your seat ball game. And I don't know, I had all the different superstitions. I was turning my shirt inside out. I was flipping my hat backwards inside out. I was doing everything I could think of, like, oh, that's not working. I got to try something new. We need all the help we can get. I'm kind of a funny superstition fan. I don't believe any of that really makes sense, but I like to do it because it's fun to change it up when you need support, and change it up on your end, almost like you're in the stands or something, right?
And when it works, it works. You know, you can't argue
Yeah.
against any of that stuff because it's like, oh, I got to move over on this side of the couch. Like, I kind of do that to a point. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I'll do that, but you know, a lot of times I'm just like, just like really high watching it.
Well, at the end of the day, whatever works for you. I know that the superstitions are not whatever you want to call them. They're just routine for me as a fan, and when I'm rooting for my TV in front of the, in front of the TV.
Yeah, dude, it makes the experience that much more fun. You know.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I think that's really all I got on my end for the podcast, dude. I'm not too.
Yeah.
I think
otherwise we can maybe preview the Panthers a little bit, and there's not much to talk about other than we're going to be seeing, I believe, the first round pick, which is Bryce Young, the first pick of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
He was the quarterback that went top of the round. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Some people are interested in seeing how that guy plays out as far as
Carolina came in last year and ran all over us, dude. So hopefully our defense can really, stop their run this time around.
I think they had a good, as far as the week we had at Lions, I think the yards per carry was pretty low.
It was like 2.6
let's hope we can
something.
let's hang on to that. Like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's leave good enough alone, and let's go back and take this home and have a good game like we did in Detroit in front of the fans there at Lumen Field.
Yeah, they gotta get some payback after that Rams game, dude. I mean, they gotta watch the taste out of their mouth after that one, dude. That was like I said, dude, all my sympathy goes out to you, to anybody that was in the state in Lumen Field 2 weeks ago, man. That was a hard one to sit through.
Well, let's say this. We'll use my one-word description of today's podcast regarding yesterday's game for the fans as well. We'll say, Seahawks, let's give our fans some redemption. The ones that are going to show up at this game as compared to the one that came to the last game, because we're ready for it and we're waiting. That's about all I got.
I was going to say, dude, those are perfect words to end the podcast on. Rich Harris. I'm Kevin Porter, and I guess we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
All right.
Can you win a game in the first quarter? No! Can you win a game in the second quarter? No! Can you win a game in the third quarter? No!